Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel! Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. So today I have my August TBR and I'm very excited about that. The last few months I have done such a good job of picking books for my TBR that I actually want to read, and so then I end up making my way through a lot of the books that I actually put on my TBR, which is really, really nice and it makes me feel very accomplished and I really like that. So I hope I hope that I did well with this month's TBR too. Don't mind Kazi, he's just getting his bone and jets are flying overhead. It's fine. But we will see, we will see. I picked books that I think I want to read, but again, I feel like there were just so many good options. So, okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the books that I want to read in August. And real quickly, wanted to draw attention to my beautiful sweatshirt. Read what you want, dress how you want, kiss who you want, love who you want, be who you want. This is part of Hello Lovely Box's Pride section. I love it so much. I am a rep for them. My discount code and a link to their shop is down below if you ever want to pick anything up. Okay, so first things first. So the first book, which actually is a book that I have already read, but I am putting it on this TBR just to let you all know, this is the book for the August Rake Appreciation Society. It's a historical romance book club that I do with my dear friend Jen from the Book Refuge. And our book this month in August is Devil in Disguise, which is the brand new Lisa Kleypas book. I've already read this. I adored it. It's one of my favorite books of the year. I'm very excited to talk about this with everyone, and I believe I'm going to be rereading this. I read it physically first, and I have the audiobook now, and I want to listen to the audiobook, so I will have everything fresh in my mind for our discussion. Okay, and then, so in order of priority on my TBR list are the books that I really have to get to, and then towards the bottom are books that I just really want to get to. So priority number one is Devil in Disguise, but I already read it, so I'm already feeling good about that. So now my next section is ARCs, which are advanced review copies. I have 3 ARCs that I would love to read in August because they are either August or September releases. So these are all historical romance books. The first one is I'm Only Wicked with You by Julie Ann Long. I believe this will be her newest book in her I have not read this series yet, but it's her newest release. I don't really know anything about it. I'm very excited to try it. She will be a new to me author and I've heard wonderful things about her, so really looking forward to this one. This one comes out, I believe, August 18th, somewhere in there. I think it comes out August 18th, towards the end of the month. Very excited about that one. The next book that I have to get to that I am very excited about is The Devil's Own Duke by Lenora Bell. This one releases at the end of September. I will put the date on the screen because I don't remember it exactly. It's either the 25th or the 28th. This is a September release. I wanted to try and get a month ahead of my ARC, so I'm not rushing at the last minute to read and get my review up. I have read only one other book by Lenora Bell, but I really, really loved it, and it was her book that she released last year, so I am excited about this one, and I have very high expectations, not gonna lie. Okay, and the last ARC that I have to read is A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman. This is another historical romance. I'm very excited about this one. This is the beginning of a new series, so perfect to start with if you haven't read anything by Kate Bateman before. And yeah, I'm excited about this one. The cover's beautiful. I think she has some of the most beautiful covers in historical romance, and I can't wait to read it. This one also comes out at the end of September. Okay, now my next section is carryovers. So these are books that I had on my previous month's TBR that have to get read this month. So I usually only put 1 book on here. This month I am putting 2, and it's only because I still have a little bit of time left in July and I may read one of these before the month is over. So the books that are carryovers for me is Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins. This is her new release. I believe this came out in February. I think the cover's stunning. I love Beverly Jenkins. I can't wait to read this. This is happening for sure. And the other one, which is definitely happening, is Lord of Scoundrels. Okay, y'all. I have literally started this book 3 times and I keep DNFing it because I've been listening to the audiobook and I really struggled to stay invested enough that my attention wasn't wandering. So this month I am reading this. This is actually our September Rake Appreciation Society pick book. Jen picked this. This is one of her very favorite historicals, and I am very excited to have this discussion whether I love this book or I don't love it, but I really hope that I love it. So definitely this is very top priority underneath the other ones that I just listed. Okay, and the next section is pretty fun. I had such a great time reading books that Jessen picked for me last month from Jessen Reads Romance. I honestly loved every single book that she picked for me except Lord of Scoundrels because I didn't finish it. I'm so sorry, Jessen. I'm so sorry. I will finish it. I will finish it. That I decided it would be fun to ask other book friends to pick some books for my TBR. So this month I asked Jess from Peace Love Books if she wouldn't mind putting together 3 or 4 books for me to read, and I'm very excited to get to these. Some of these books weren't on my radar at all, some of them were. So the first one she picked for me was The Duke in My Bed by Amelia Gray. I actually have not, I think this is the one that Jess read during the most recent historical romance readathon, and she really liked it. And I have read a book by Amelia Gray before, and I liked it, but I didn't love it, so I'm really, really curious about if I'm going to love this one. I'm very excited about it. I just can't wait to read all of these, honestly. The next book that she picked for me is Always and Forever by Beverly Jenkins. I adore Beverly Jenkins so much, and I know Jess does too. So I'm really excited about this one. I am positive I'm gonna love it. Positive. I just know it. And another book she picked for me is Inevitable Conclusions by Christina C. Jones. This is a contemporary romance, and this is a new to me author. I know Jess loves Christina C. Jones, so I am very excited about that one. I haven't really looked into the synopsis. I just went with what she picked for me and gonna just put those in a reading vlog and read them for 1 week, so that will be fun. And the last book she picked for me is Ever After Always by Chloe Leese. Now, Chloe Leese is one of those authors that I have had on my radar that I thought eventually I'll get to her, but the hype surrounding her and how much people love her has kind of put me off a little bit and made me a little bit nervous. So I just barely read my first Chloe Leese book. It is the 4th book in her Bergman Brothers series, and it was actually an arc. I read it early. It comes out in September. And I loved it, so now I want to read all of her books. So I'm very happy that Jess put this on here because I think when she put it on there is right around the time when I was reading that book. So I'm excited about those. Those will all be in a reading vlog. I cannot wait to read those books that Jess picked for me. Thank you so much, Jess, for picking these books for me and taking the time to do that. Okay, so those are all of like the required reading books that I have. Now the last section of this TBR is the largest, and it is just basically filled with books that are calling to me right now. Let's hope that I still feel that way in August. I'm pretty sure that I will, but these are all books that I just really, really want to read. Some of them are books in series that I've already started, and I'm just very excited about them. So let's get into these. So the first book that I really want to read is House Rules by Ruby Lang. This book is a contemporary romance, and I believe it is, I think it's like a second chance romance where the husband and wife had divorced, and then it ends up happening where she's trying to sell her apartment and he comes in to live there while she's selling it, and it's sort of like a second chance there. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that this has chronic illness rep, and she has endometriosis, which is actually the chronic illness that I have. So I have had this on my radar for a very long time, but I've been a little nervous to start it because I was hoping that the rep was done really well. So I am excited about this one. This is happening this month. Okay, another book that I picked on here is No Tomorrow by Carrie-Anne Cole. Now, in July, I found 2 favorite books of mine, specifically Torn by Carrie-Anne Cole. This one was recommended to me by Jessen when she picked my TBR. I absolutely fell in love with Torn. I thought it was so beautiful and just became one of my favorite books of the year. And I really loved Carrie-Anne Cole's writing style, so I picked this one, even though I have been a little bit warned that it's super angsty and not necessarily a favorite of Jessen's, but I really wanted to read it because it's a newer book of hers and the audiobook was available to me. So it is No Tomorrow. I don't know too much about this other than I think it maybe is a rock star romance, and I think that they meet under, like, I read the synopsis and then I can't remember. They meet under like really dire circumstances, I think. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm sorry. I want to read it. It's on my TBR. I'm excited about it. I hope I have found a new favorite author in Carrie-Anne Cole. We will see. Okay, another book on my TBR is another one of those that was super hyped that I just kept putting off, and it is The Forbidden Man by Karina Halley. I love Karina Halley. I love everything of hers that I have read, and this book I am positive I'm gonna love. I really hope I'm going to love it because most people who've read this dearly loved it. So let's hope that I also do too. This is an older woman, younger man, contemporary romance, and I believe that I think he is a soccer player, a professional soccer player, and I think that she is his physical therapist. It's been talked about a ton. I'm sure that you've heard of it. Okay, now, another book that I put on my TBR that I am very excited about is Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. I really would like to read more of Penelope Douglas's books. I have read some of her books that I didn't like, specifically the Corrupt and the Devil's Night series, but then I read Birthday Girl, fell in love with it, and I've heard from several people that if you like Birthday Girl, you will also like Misconduct, so high hopes for this one. This one's getting read this month. Okay, another book that I have is actually a historical romance that I found on Kindle Unlimited, so I am very excited, crossing my fingers that I like this one, because I've never heard anything about it, but the cover and the title just made me like add to my Kindle Unlimited library, and it is His Lady to Protect by Justine Covington. The only thing I really know about this is that he is her brother's best friend, but she believes he is responsible for her brother's death, and he was asked by her brother to protect her, and there's a marriage of convenience, and I just think it sounds interesting, and I really want to find more Kindle Unlimited historical romance authors that I can love and recommend. So have high hopes for this one, hoping it's a good one. Okay, and another book that I really want to read, I have kind of been in a big mood for like thrillers or mysteries, but I also don't really feel like putting those on my TBR. I just kind of want to pick those up if the mood calls for it. However, this book is a historical fiction with romantic elements, and it's a mystery. It was also recently on sale on Kindle for like $1.99. I'm not sure if it still is or not, but I just was very intrigued with this. I thought the cover was really beautiful. I've heard good things about this author, and it is Silent in the Grave by Deanna Raybourn. She is the author of the Veronica Speedwell series, which I know Riley Marie really loves. And this book is basically, so the heroine's husband dies, and the inspector who tries to come and see who believes that it was murder, while she has been led to believe that it was of natural causes, sort of finds some evidence that points towards the wife, that she was the one who murdered him. So she's trying to find the actual killer, and she ends up teaming up with this detective, and I'm assuming they have a little bit of romance. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that this is more mystery historical fiction than romance, but I know there's romance in it, so I'm intrigued. I think it sounds good, so I'm excited about this one. Let's hope that it fits the bill for that itch I have for like something a little creepy, a little mysterious. Like, I want spooky season and pumpkin spice season to be here already, you know? I'm tired of summer. I'm tired of 100-degree days. I want fall to be here. Okay. Next book is Burn for Me by Ilona Andrews. I recently got this book on Audible when they were having a sale on their audiobooks. It was very, very cheap. I have been wanting to read this largely because I know Jessen loves this series, and I just really trust her recommendations. And I also have kind of been in the mood for like a really well done fantasy, you know? Like Jessen just recently read The House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, and she was talking about her experience of reading it with me, and it made me really want to pick up a new fantasy world that was new to me and just sort of have that feeling of getting sucked into it. But also I wanted some romance, and I know that there's probably not romance heavy in the first one. I've read some Ilona Andrews before and really enjoyed it. I've heard nothing but great things about the series, so I'm excited. I am ready to dive into this series. I'm ready. I need it. I need it to be good. Like, I'm just in the mood for it right now, today. Okay. Now, another book that I picked up that I'm really excited to read is Moonglow by Kristen Callahan. I ended up reading the first book, Firelight, which was on my July TBR. I just read that not too long ago. It's a historical romance, but it has like fantastical elements in it. I wouldn't call it paranormal romance. I wouldn't even call it I guess there's a little bit of steampunk. Anyway, it's sort of like a fantastical, paranormal, steampunkish historical romance. I enjoyed the first one. I felt like it had a lot of promise. I really, really liked it. I felt like the writing was very tight. The middle was, I won't review it. The middle was a little laggy, but I was intrigued enough to carry on with the series, and so I have Moonglow, the second book. I believe that each book in this series features a different hero and heroine, which I like. I love that idea of having a book per couple and not have it strung out the whole time, you know? So I'm excited about this one. Okay, another book that I have on here is one that has been influenced by Jessen. Jessen has been talking about Elisa Braden since the historical romance readathon, and it has made me really want to pick her books up too. And I actually bought this book as soon as Jessen was telling me about it, and it is The Making of a Highlander by Elisa Braden. I think the cover is so beautiful, and Jessen really enjoys this series, and so it's on my TBR. I'm gonna read it. I think it will be a great one. I really think that I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm excited to find a new historical romance author that I love. Okay, and this next book is one that Jenn picked out for me on like this list she made of mafia romances specifically that she thought I would like, and it is Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Gessinger. I have not read one of her books before, but I know that this book is pretty universally well loved, and I'm very excited about it. I've been wanting to get to it ever since the Mafia Romance Readathon, so here it is, showing up. Very excited about this one. Okay, and the next book that I want to read is sort of one of those historical romances that is maybe an underrated gem, but I feel like the people who have read it usually end up really liking it, but it's also not talked about very often, and that is Ruthless by Anne Stewart. I don't really know too much of what this is about, but I have heard really good things, and I just finally decided now is the time we're gonna read this. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, now the next books on my TBR is a series that I have also been dying to get back to since Jessen picked Blue-Eyed Devil for me to read, and that is Sugar Daddy by Lisa Kleypas and Smooth Talking Stranger by Lisa Kleypas. So this is her contemporary romance series. These are all around one family, the Travis family. I loved Blue-Eyed Devil so much. It was a 5-star read. It was honestly a favorite read of the year, and I'm very excited for these. I know this book is a little bit, some people love this, some people don't, but so I'm curious about where I'm gonna fall on that, and I feel like this one, I think the people who have read this really love it. I know Jessen loves this book, so I'm so excited. Definitely going to be reading more in the Travis series. So, okay, and I have one last book on my TBR. I feel like I was very ambitious with this TBR, but there were just so many books I wanted to read. I wanted to have plenty of options. So here's hoping that I get through the majority of these. But you know how I was saying that when I sort of was going along with Jessen's experience of reading A House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, I wanted that experience of really finding a beautifully well done new fantasy book. I was thinking of what I could pick up and read that would be like that, and so I decided to go with Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. I think that's how you say her name. I know this is a historical fantasy with some romantic elements. I know it's not full-on romance, but the way that Jessen has talked about this, I actually bought this to read because I know Jessen loves it, and they were doing a podcast on the Smart Women Read Romance podcast, and then I just never got to it. But the way Jessen talks about this book specifically just makes me want to read it so badly. Like, she just loves this book, and I am really in the mood for a beautiful fantasy. So hopefully I will get to this because I have the audiobook also. I'm very excited about it. So, okay, I'm super excited about this TBR if you couldn't tell. I think I'm gonna find some new favorites on here. I hope that I do anyway. And yeah, let me know down below what you hope to read in August, and if you made it this far in the video, please leave me a purple heart. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. I will see you in my next video.